All right, you guys, welcome back. Here we are for our round 16 team list. Not very good at this one, if you ask me. A few players that are out or haven't come back from injury that we're wanting. Guys like Schuster, Cleary's out. So we'll start with Cleary and just go through that one there. So NRL physio has come out and said he's got a labral tear on the shoulder there, which is not great. So obviously worse than the subluxation. Most of these need surgery, and they said 3 to 6 months is the recovery time. He did also say that there's a possibility of waiting until after the season, so I'm not exactly sure what that means at the moment. And does that mean he can continue playing after, 16 and 17 off, like have a few weeks off and let it heal a little bit, and then kind of strap it up and keep playing with it over the rest of the season, and so he can keep going into the playoffs? I'm not exactly sure. But it's not good signs, really. He did obviously continue playing the rest of the game in Origin, so maybe you can play with it and still be really good. Obviously, it probably won't affect him just with how good he's playing at the moment, but something to think about with Cleary is I won't tell you whether to trade him out or not, but I think you should make your decision on that, whether you think it's going to be a while or not, whether you think it's only going to be a few weeks. It's just a lot of money to be sitting on the sidelines when we know that it's round 16. Do they need him over the next sort of 5 to 7 rounds, 8 rounds, 9 rounds, right? They probably only want him to come, like, if they're going to continue to play him and not get the surgery, they're probably only going to need him for the last few rounds before the finals start, and then have him through the finals and then get the surgery in the off season. So that's my only concern. It's just that they're at the top of the table with Storm, and do they need him to be rushed back? And I don't think they do. So that's my thoughts on Cleary. Make with that what you will. And if you are going to trade him out, as obviously all the videos just popped out about all the different positions, so use them wisely. So we got Roosters and Storm. We have very similar squad to last time with the Roosters there. Verrills is starting in the 9 jersey with Kieran on the interchange. So another week off was good for Verrills' recovery, and they pop him straight back in the 9 jersey. And I think they will use Kieran, for a decent amount of time, I'd say, whether he plays through the middle or as another half or whatever he decides to do. But I think having him on the field is good for their goal kicking for a starter. But it's good to see Verrills on there. For anyone who picked him up, he'll be a good little score in round 17. Will be the goal there. Crichton, I've spoken about. Do you pick him up now? Do you pick him up later? That's completely up to you. But most people should have him. The rest of the guys here, probably no one else to really think about holding or selling or buying. on the Storm side, people are asking me, should we be trading Hines now? I think you can keep him until Pap comes back, really. Unless you get a really good option this week or next, because he's obviously got a round 17 bye. If you get a good option for him, then you can possibly trade him. But to me, I think he is a hold this week, even with the higher break even. He'll probably only lose, even if he does okay, probably only lose about 30k, which is completely fine. Puts him back to 700,000. No worries there. Guys like Olam and Remus Smith, I think, are holds for this week. You can trade them if you want because they play 17 and they're not keepers. But yeah, price points aren't crazy good with not a lot of options in that mid-tier at the moment. We don't really want to be bringing a lot of mid-tier guys in. We want to be going cash outs or keepers at this stage. Hughes is obviously always going to be a great option. Just they have a buy in 17. Smithy's been great. Harry Grant's obviously out for a little while too, so Smithy will keep continuing to score well. That's about all with the squad. I'd be waiting for Munster until after Origin and see how he goes from there. Anyway, moving on to the Warriors and the Dragons. Alrighty, so Roger, if you're holding him, I think you're going to keep holding him until 18. You can move him on from there. Good thing is here he gets to play this round at the fullback position. Bad news is we have Reece Walsh who's out and could be out for 17 as well. So I still think you got to hold him no matter what, Walsh, if you have him, which most people do. But if you got Roger, this is good news for you, like myself, that he gets to play the 1 against the Dragons, it'll be a fairly close game. Dallin Martinez-Lesniak is straight onto the wing for him. Montoya in the centres, Costi on the wing, and then you've got Townsend at 7. So a fair few changes for the Warriors this week, and what that means for Nikorima, I think a few less kick meters than what he normally does, but I think that really allows Nikorima to have more of a running game, which means tackle breaks, offloads, line breaks, and the like. So I don't think it changes his scoring too much. Just my opinion there on that one. In terms of the forward pack, they do have Aiken who's out, which I'm not sure if everyone saw that, but Aiken and Curran are both out for 2 weeks, so they missed the next 2 rounds, which really sucks. If you picked up Curran for 17, you miss out on him there. So Harris will just play in the middle for the 80 then. Tavanga moves back to the bench for Wade Egan's return. So yeah, anyone who brought in Jazz, probably going to be some less minutes. On the other side of things, we have DeBellin in the 13 jersey. Should be playing some decent minutes, but they do have Maguire in the 14. So if you've got Alvaro still, got to get rid of him. Fuamanu is on the interchange bench as well. Jack Bird moves back to the centres with Tarek coming back and Josh Kerr there. So for those that were interested in Jackson Ford and had picked him up fairly early and really utilised all his good scoring, I suppose this was inevitable. We thought someone would end up moving into that 13 jersey, whether it was Maguire on his return or DeBellin or something like that. But yeah, Ford is probably definitely be a sell now that he's made so much cash and done really well for us. That's about all on the Dragon side. I suppose McCulloch's a half a decent option, but I think maybe in round 18 would be better. Jack Bird's a hold for the rest of the year. Ben Hunt also going to be a great option, who does miss 17 but should be able to return as he's not playing massive minutes in that 14 jersey for the Queensland boys. But yeah, we'll see what happens for that game, if he ends up getting a bigger opportunity or not, and if he'll back up. But moving on to Panthers, so yeah, we spoke about Cleary being out, which means Burton gets an extended role. And if you own him at the moment, you've got to keep holding him because he's going to score pretty well, or better than he would be in the centres. And if you don't own him, and there's news that Cleary's out for the year, I think you can pick up Burton. But until then, I think it's not worth picking him up. To'o's going to be a great pickup over the next few weeks. I definitely think so. Averaging 56. We spoke about him in the wing fullback video. But yeah, go back and watch all those guys as to who you should buy, hold, sell, the type of guns you want in your squads going forward. That will be helpful. Mustaines gets his chance at the back. I don't think he's an option at all. Keeps scoring poorly. Moving along, capable kick out back in the second row. Appy, let's watch him play for a little bit. He had that really low week last game, so you've got some time to wait and see how he goes. I think Tommy Opacek is a sell. I own him, and I'm going to be looking to sell him over the next couple of weeks, this week or next. Keeps losing cash now and just not scoring. He's averaging 28, I think, over the last 3, so yeah, not great. Moses is going to be a good option, slightly better option than Brown, but I think you can wait another couple of weeks until 19 or 18, sorry. In terms of our forwards, Madison, I'm probably going to be holding this week just to see what happens. But yeah, they have a lot of forwards on the bench and a lot of edge forwards that he'll probably just switch for 60 minutes again. So I think Leilua is more of a hold than Madison, but that's where we're at. Papali'i is going to be your gun second rower / mid in your teams, which is great. Joey Lussick gets another chance. So Reed will be back in 18, it sounds like. Dogs and Eagles, so Meany at the back, Allen's back. We got Manu in the centres, Katoa, so there's plenty going on here. And then Kyle Flanagan comes back into the 6th role. Of course, Kyle Flanagan comes back. As soon as I bring in Averillo, pick him up at his peak, and now Flanagan's going to take some of his kick meters. So exactly what we needed. Hopefully they've got Averillo with the 7 on his bat. The Flanagan plays a little bit more of the role that Wakem played, but we'll see how we go with that one. Flanagan does like to kick the ball. They're both not terrific kickers of the ball, but we'll see how we go. Marshall King, a few people have been talking about. I just don't think he's a keeper, so I think he'll score well over the next period. But as an overall average, I'm expecting 50 at max, so I don't think that's keeper level. Obviously, that's more than what Brayley's doing at the moment, but that's that. Luke Thompson at the 10 role, still a decent option. Jackson Torpany is an interesting one. He'd be fairly cheap at the moment, and getting that 11 jersey with Adam Elliott back, so he's out with the cheekbone injury, which I think NRL Physio said it was going to be a bunch of weeks, so have a look into that with Torpany, and I think he's going to score well in that position. So if you think he's going to get an extended period of time, he could be an interesting scoring player this week, cash out kind of player for next week, who will score well and should be able to do something for your side. And then if he gets an extended spot in the squad, he can make some good cash, but we'll see what happens there. People ask me about Matt Dury, if he's an option. I think a little bit too expensive. Him and Torpany are a similar price there. And yeah, I think Torpany would be a better option than Dury at this stage as like a cash out. That's about all. On the Eagles side, Tommy Bruh, get him into your squad as soon as possible. I'll be doing it in 18 or 19. Let me know when you're going to do it if you don't have him. I think I'm one of the other people that don't. Harper, Garrick, both okay options. Spoke about them in the centre and wing fullback videos. DCE is going to be a top 3 half. Look to get him in at some point. Ola Kawatu, probably a little bit too expensive now to bring into your squad, I think. I don't think he's going to make enough money. He'll score okay. That's about all. Carl Lawton's still in the 12 jersey. So, yeah, we miss out on Schuster again for another week. Unfortunately, not even in the reserve. So, surely he can be back next week. Otherwise, it's been a complete waste of time holding him. Oh, how annoying has that been, guys? Anyone at Schuster owner, I think a few people in the comments will be like, yeah, I traded him out straight away because I knew he was going to be out forever. Yeah, righto. It was a 1 to 2 week injury. Turns out to be a 3 to 5 week injury. So we'll see how we go. Still averaging 52, so when he gets back in, you should be able to do well, but when's he going to come back? We need him for 17. That's all I'm saying. Moving along. Raiders Titans. If you're enjoying this, guys, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Let's go along. Bailey Simonson, spoke about in the wing fullback video. Still half cheap enough. He has to score pretty well, though. Harry Nara, decent option again. Will he be a keeper for the rest of the season? Not sure. One of the best edges, apart from the dual position guys, so it'll be like a top 5, 6 edge. Sutton back in the 13 jersey. Good to see Papali'i back in the starting side following his origin effort. On the Titan side, Brimson's back, so Campbell's out. If you owned him, you can probably just keep him around. Campbell played pretty well, so he's got a little bit more money to make if he gets his opportunity. Corey Thompson's back, so Herzu is out, which we thought would happen, but you suppose you made a little bit of cash out of him and a decent scoring player over the last few games. Fogs, keep holding. For feeder, we're all going to want him in round 18-19. Peachy, another great option as well. That's about all we'll talk about with those guys. Knights Cowboys. Ponga's back. Dom Young stays. Kurt Mann stays in the centres. So with Ponga back, they're going to be a little bit better. Of course, he comes back against the Cowboys. Clifford and Pearce will be a decent combo. Pearce is half an option in the halves, but I think there's better to go by. Brayley, you can hold or sell. I'm okay with that. Fitzgibbon, Suaso Su. Watson's going to play his normal role off the bench, which is good. If you're still owning him, I'd probably hold him. On the Cowboys side, we're sitting with Talangi, Hamiso, Jarvid Bowen, all kind of guys that have kind of been doing okay, making a bit of money, but not many people have them. Dearden becomes half an option after that really good game last week where he scored a try and set up one. So keep an eye on him if you're thinking about him as like a real cut price half. That probably won't be a keeper, but can make you some cash. He's your option there if you need one of them. Taumalolo, let's watch. I'm personally going to watch how he goes this week and then make my decision in round 17. So that's all there. Broncos and Sharks. Tessie keeps his spot at the back. Didn't score very well anyway. Tony Sags is back, so I'd probably be giving him a few weeks. He gets his one game back here, then they have a bye. So let's see what happens over that. And then 18 or 19, if he's looking like he's going to be strong, then you can pick him up if you need to for the back end of the year. But there are a lot of good centres like Jesse Raymond on the other side. Lodge I wouldn't be picking up. I'd definitely be holding him. Rabadi keeps his number 12 jersey, so TPJ is going to be out for the next 3 weeks. I don't know if that's enough for TC to go really well, but have a think about it yourself. And if you need him, Flagler I think is a sell. Just Rabadi with the fact that they have a bye next week is the issue. Payne Haas, I'd wait till 18 or 19. That's about all on that side of things. And then the Sharks, we've got really no real changes. You got Moylan and Johnson in the halves. You got Mulatalo and Raymond kind of doing okay for backs in this squad, and some people would be thinking about having them or owning them. Talakai just didn't score as well as we would have hoped, so let's wait one more week and see what happens this. And then if he has a lower game, then you're probably not wanting to pick him up. But if he has an okay game, then it might be worth picking him up at a pretty cheap price there. That's about all with that one. And then heading to our last game of the round will be the Tigers and the Bunnies. So are we expecting a Bunnies whitewash here or what? Dane Laurie, who's holding him? Probably looking to be trading him very shortly. If you haven't, Dewey got rid of him last week, which is good. Luke Brooks and Mbai still in the half, so I hate talking about this side at the moment, but they're just killing me. Their players are just killing me. Lucy, I'll be holding steady. Hopefully he gets a good chance. Hopefully. But you can see just them getting pumped against the Bunnies and he just scoring like 30 again, so he's killing me there. We also got on the Bunny side, Latrell. It's going to be half an option soon. Gagai and Graham you can think about as well, but I'd be looking 18-19 kind of levels. Reynolds, same thing. But for him, I'd be looking to possibly pick him up in the next 2 weeks if you're thinking about it. But other than that, you're just going to leave him, let him through the keeper. Other than that, Murray's going to be a decent option soon, but I wouldn't pick him up now. And that's about it, guys. That's the team list for the week. Let me know your thoughts on that. What's happening with your teams? Are we able to field 17? Do we have 3 to 4, 5 out? If you've got a couple of cash out guys that aren't really playing either, let me know what's happening with that. And we'll catch you next one, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. See you later.